Oh, it's good to be back home, I tell you. Great trip though, but it's good to be back home. Welcome back to the Mirror Army podcast for another week, the unleashed version, episode 3. Well, it's good to be back home here in what I was going to say sunny Northern Ireland, but it's not really sunny Northern Ireland. It's another shit day out there. The rain is on. It's cold. It's cloudy. It's crap. But we're back for another podcast. Big thanks everybody who tuned into last Tuesday's episode. If you haven't tuned into it from last Tuesday, it's still available on Spotify, iTunes, and also on YouTube. Big thank you to everybody who has been in contact with me over the last few days. I did put out a wee thing at the end of the last episode on Tuesday asking you to get in touch with me about the crazy world in relation to energy prices, like for example your electricity, your gas, your petrol costs and more, cost of living basically. Big thanks everybody getting in touch with me. Thank you for some of your heartfelt messages in relation to I was talking about that little girl who was murdered in Liverpool. My hotel was just around the corner from where the court was, and I saw a lot of police and stuff outside. A lot of these workers get me in touch with me over social media and obviously emails and things like that about obviously your thoughts on the story as well. So big thanks to everybody who all the feedback from last Tuesday's episode, guys. I'm going to check it back and listen to it. But today is Thursday. Today is the day where I can pretty much say as a please to a certain extent. Oh, what a trip, guys. Honestly, I'm a little bit glad to be home. You know me, I love going to Liverpool. I love going to Liverpool games. I love going to Anfield. I love going to Anfield, especially with Lewis. You know, it's great crack and we always have a good time. I love Champions League nights at Anfield, but fuck me, what a stressful trip that was. That was one of the most stressful trips I ever had in my time of travelling to Liverpool over the years. Oh, I'll talk about just more about that in just a wee second, but time to do a bit of housekeeping, as I always like to call every week here on the podcast. Guys, you want to get in touch with the Mirror Army podcast, you can certainly do it by the following methods. If you're tuning into us for the first time this week, you can contact the podcast with any questions, any subjects you'd like to talk about, any shout-outs you would like to hear on the podcast, or anything else in general. If you'd like to be a sponsor of the podcast or whatever more, you can get in touch with us at mirrorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. You can also contact me personally on Instagram, which is official Matthew Moore. Check out the Facebook page, Mirror Army YouTube channel on Facebook. And also, if you want to get in touch with us at all, please do, because I'd like to hear from anybody who likes to get in touch with us. Also, guys, you want to check out the Redmen Football Adventures channel on YouTube, which is myself and Lewis's adventures in the life of football as Liverpool fans. From match day vlogs to shorts, never start putting more short videos on the channel and more Redmen Football Adventures. But the most important main one is, if you want to check us out on our daily YouTube channel, which is the Mirror Army YouTube channel, which we're going nearly almost heading into our 7th year strong on YouTube. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel and subscribe there as well for all our, somewhat daily vlogs, not as much anymore. We do get as many vlogs as we can. We do a lot of different videos too, and it's pretty much an awesome channel, and we've got an awesome fan base, and we love all our supporters. Mirror Army YouTube channel, go and check him out as well. And if I didn't say about Lewis's YouTube channel, he'd probably have another fucking girl at me again. So Lewis's YouTube channel, Lewis Moore on YouTube as well. That's the housekeeping done for now. Guys, what a fucking stressful trip it was the last few days. I know I'm swearing quite a bit, but this is the Unleashed episode, and I can say whatever I want. I've got a few interesting things I want to talk about today, but I want to talk about, I was talking to you on Thursday about the stressful situation it was getting to Liverpool by almost missing the flight and all the different things that happened to me while I got there. My God, I left the hotel on Tuesday. I was there for 2 days. I was there from Monday to Wednesday. And the first hotel I stayed in, not a bad wee spot, Easy Hotel it's called, Castle Street. Reasonably priced, good staff. You know, it's a cheap hotel, somewhere to put your head down for the night. But because the big match was on, Liverpool versus Rangers, it was hard to get a hotel for the actual night of the game. So I booked this wee apartment in Liverpool. And my God, what a fucking nightmare. Number one, it was out of the town completely. It was about 2.5 miles outside the town. The place wasn't overly great, and it was fucking cold. The heating worked now and again, and the lady who owned the block of flats was a little bit creepy, and I'm just being fucking honest. She was a little bit creepy when I met her at the front door. She was like something out of a fucking witches movie. You know, it was kind of like, an old Hocus Pocus has just been released there recently on fucking Disney. My God, she looked like a witch. And she had this wee, hello there, Mr. Bear. How are you? Are you alright? And I'm kind of like, okay, yeah. And then I was checked into the hotel and thought, right, or the apartment, sorry, I'll get myself lie down for a little bit. I'll chill out, get an hour hot shower. I had a shower that morning. And I'll head into fucking the town, say about 5 or 6. And I thought to myself, I'm going to just get a taxi to Anfield. It's going to cost like 10 quid. And I thought, right, that'll be cool. I'll do that. So anyway, I get into the fucking thing, not even 20 minutes into the fucking place, and she locks the door. Would you like anything else? That's the way she sounded. I'm not doing the voice like, but this is the way she fucking sounded. Would you like anything else, Ferdy? It's like, oh my God, really? Like, she wasn't even that old. She was just like really fucking creepy looking, you know, one of those real weird characters. But anyway, I managed to get rid of it. I got a shower, but the water wasn't overly fucking hot, which pissed me off even more. And then I thought, right, this apartment's not overly great. I'll just get my taxi booked now. Fuck it. I'll get a taxi and I'll head up to Anfield. I'll get in. I'll get a cup of coffee at Anfield, as I always do. I might grab a hot dog. I don't know. I think about it. I ended up grabbing a hot dog at the grounds you probably saw on the Match Day vlog. Don't forget to check them out, by the way, on both YouTube channels. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, right, okay, I'll get another cup of tea here. I've had my shower. I'll book a taxi. And I'll book it for about, well, this is around about 5 o'clock. About 5:30 maybe. I thought, right, I'll get a taxi booked. Well, actually, it wasn't even 5:30. I think it was more near 6. So when I sat down, made sure my phone was ready for obviously doing the vlog, all fully charged. So I got the app for the taxi firm I normally use around the town in Liverpool or the city. Fuck me, what an absolute nightmare. So anyway, I goes and I fucking books the taxi, and it says on the app there was a few cars nearby. Now here's the thing, when I'm in Liverpool, I would normally use Uber. Now I know obviously we'll have Uber here in Northern Ireland. I think it's just Belfast only, but this place here, it was called Alpha Taxis, I think it's called. So I downloaded their app, and I was like, right, okay, I'll download their app, I'll get a taxi. They're cheaper than Uber, it'd be great. So when I looked on the thing, it's the same as you look on an Uber app. You see all the wee cars on the map floating around the area, and you think to yourself, right, okay, it's not too far away, I'll book a taxi, sweet, happy days. So it books a taxi, and it says on the thing, 15-20 minutes. So I thought, okay, I'll fucking wait for 20 minutes. It doesn't bother me. Plenty of time to get to the game. You know, at the end of the day, fucking, you know, it's busy time, it's tea time, it's you know, the traffic's always going to be busy. Same here in Northern Ireland, always is in fucking Northern Ireland. As I talked about the other day, trying to get to the fucking airport, where the traffic was bedlam. And anyway, yes, so I'm sitting there waiting, and the taxi kept jumping in time. And at this point, it was like coming up to it was after 6. I remember checking my phone, it was after 6, and I'm thought to myself here, am I actually going to get through the fucking traffic here by the time this taxi gets here? So I phones the taxi up, and it goes, hello, and this girl comes on the phone. The first girl seemed really nice and sweet, and she was like, yeah, we're really sorry, sir, the taxi's in your area, waiting for one to clear. It could be about an hour, 15-20 minutes. And I thought, well, at this point I was already waiting 20 minutes. I thought, sweetheart, I'm fucking waiting 20 minutes, you know what I mean? You told me 20 minutes in the original booking. Oh, but where you are, there's no cabs in your area. But why the fuck was there showing cars in the area on your app, and now, you know, there's nothing there? And I'm kind of thinking, what's going on here? So I let an hour 10 minutes pass, but why I kept checking the app, the thing about this app is, right, and it's the same as an Uber app. It keeps telling you where your car is, how far away it is, how many minutes it's going to be. You know, you can send the driver a message, but this one wouldn't even allocate me a fucking driver. And at this point, it was like 6:15, and the time kept jumping again on the waiting. So I phones them again, and this fucking woman comes on the phone again, the second girl. And I'll be totally honest with you, she was a fucking nightmare. And she was like, oh, well, sir, I don't really see your booking on the screen here. And at this stage, I started getting pissed. And I was like, are you fucking serious, woman? Like, really? You told me 20 minutes, and then I rang you again. It would be an hour 20 minutes. So you're telling me now you can't find my taxi on your fucking system? Oh, hold on a second, sir. So she puts me on hold to this really random 80s music, which I've never heard before. And she was back on the phone and goes, yes, we've got your booking here. It'll be another 15, 20 minutes. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? So I worked it out. It's going to be like nearly an hour for a taxi. Like, what are you doing? So finally, after going back and forward, I phoned them a third time after an hour, 20 minutes of waiting. Finally, they said there was a taxi coming and it would be on the way in 10 minutes. And the next minute, my phone rings and they said it was outside, even though they still was there, it was on its way. But anyway, what a fucking nightmare. Finally got a taxi. I think it's because of where I was staying, to be honest with you, as well, because it's so far from the fucking city. Absolute nightmare. Get in the taxi. The driver was an absolute legend. So funny. He was an Evertonian fan. We were taking the piss at each other. We were having a laugh in the taxi. He was laughing at me because I had a split scarf on, Rangers and Liverpool, which I got in St John's Shopping Centre the day before. On one side it's for Anfield, the other side it's for Ibrox for the second leg, which I thought was quite a cool touch, so I'll keep that as a keepsake. Being the Battle of Britain, stuff like that there, the first Champions League game between Liverpool and Rangers and stuff like that. And anyway, gets to the ground finally, gets into the ground, watches the game was okay, it was a good atmosphere. But overall, guys, it was just one thing after another. It was just a fucking stressful trip. And then getting back to the apartment afterwards was even fucking worse. So I had to end up getting a bus to the town and then a taxi from the town to where I was staying, because I walked a good distance away from the stadium thinking, right, okay, the traffic's going to be bedlam. It's going to be busy outside the ground. I'm going to try and get myself a taxi away from the stadium so that it doesn't have to go through the fucking crowds and stuff like that. So what I done was, as soon as I stepped outside the stadium afterwards, I was actually editing the match day vlog. So I had a processing, it was uploading onto YouTube while I was walking away from the stadium. This is what you do when you're a joys of a fucking YouTuber. Walking away from the ground and got a way far from the stadium. Tried to go onto the app and there it was, free taxi, right, dead on, book. 11 quid, and I'm going, well, fuck, it's dear from earlier on, and I'm further, okay, book. Now here's the thing, on my phone I have a mobile banking app, right? So whenever you purchase the thing on your card or you buy something online, you get the notification on your iPhone or Android, whatever it is you have, telling you what you've purchased, where the money went to, etc, etc. It cancelled my fucking booking as soon as I purchased it, and then the bank app popped up on my screen. They charged me 11 quid for a taxi that I wasn't even going to get. So then I phones them again, and this girl comes on the phone. Honestly, and I'm going to be totally honest with you, thick as two short fucking planks, hasn't got a clue what I'm talking about. I'm like, whoa, darling, you just charged me 11 quid for a taxi. It's not even fucking coming. And she was like, oh, right, there's no taxis available in your area. I'm like, well, what about the 11 quid? You just charged me for a fucking cab. Like, really? Are you going to, like, seriously, like, refund me the money? Well, that could take 5 working days. And I'm going, is it? What? 5? You just charged me for a service that I never fucking got. So I ended up having to walk all the way back down the Anfield. By this stage, the fan buses at the bottom were probably all more likely gone. Lucky enough, there was an extra bus on at the back of the stand, which is happy days. Met a wee fellow there from Northern Ireland. I was talking to him briefly. And then I met a mum and her disabled son on the bus, and I was talking about him. He was a Rangers fan from Glasgow. Having a bit of chat and stuff like that. So overall, guys, it was just one thing after another. And then by the time I got back to the apartment, it was like, what, fucking 11:30, and I had to get up at like 3:30 to get another shower, which the water was fucking cold again, to then get another taxi to go down in the town to get a bus to go to the fucking airport. So to say overall, it was one of the most stressful trips I've ever had to Liverpool in my entire life. And normally when I go to Liverpool, it's quite a breeze. I get a flight or a boat. I arrive in the city, get checked in, go to the match, get the bus to the ground, come back on the bus. Never a problem. Straight into bed, bang, up the next morning. If it's an earlier flight, okay, you're a bit tired. But I always make sure I'm booked off the next day when I get home so I can come back home when the kids are at school, catch up with a couple of hours kip, if it's a Champions League game, and get a few hours sleep, and that's me done. But that was one of the most stressful fucking trips, between almost missing the flight, traffic, fucking one thing after another. It was just, oh. And then when I got home on Wednesday, Mum and Dad came to pick me up, and even Mum said to me, you look very tired this morning. Mum was ready in my bed. So when I come home yesterday, I come into the house and literally put all the dirty washing in the machine, put on the kids' uniforms for the wash for the next day, got all the washing done, literally sat down with a cup of coffee on my sofa, and I passed out. And I remember waking up, and I woke up at about 2:45 in the afternoon with Tony standing in my living room looking at me going, "Wake up, you lazy bastard." And I looked up at him and went, "What the fuck?" And he goes, "You tired?" I'm tired. I fucking passed out. I'm knackered. So anyway, yeah, he passed out. He came in, he was bringing some stuff around for Lewis and stuff like that. He was obviously watching Lewis and all for me the last couple of days when I was away. Thanks to Tony for that, by the way, as always. And then he turned around and said about going out last night for a few beers, and I thought, well, I've had a couple of hours kip, I feel good, I'll have a shave and a shower and I'll feel good. But then in comes Brooke and Lewis from school, and Brooke's like, "Oh, Daddy, I don't feel well." And I'm like, "Oh, fuck me, what is it now?" She was supposed to go to work on Monday, but she phoned in sick. She wasn't feeling great. She had the same thing that I had a few weeks ago when I was recording. Remember I was recording the podcast a few weeks ago, guys? I wasn't feeling great. Well, here's the thing. That's what she has now as well. Now, I'm going to stop for just a wee second in case you hear anything in the background outside. I'm recording this podcast here in a room upstairs in my house. If you hear a buzzing noise in the background, it's I don't know why, it's the council outside or whatever, or whoever it is cutting the grass in the local area. It's a wet fucking day. It's been raining earlier on, and they're out cutting their grass. Seriously, it's fucking wet outside. Fucking idiots. Oh, I don't know. In case you hear that sound in the background, I can hear it while I'm talking to you now. It's just, I hate that. Like, people, I don't know. Some people baffle me. But anyway, yes, I came home, so Brooke wasn't too well, so I ended up not having to go out last night with Tony. I was supposed to go out for a couple of beers and catch up with Tony, and it never happened because I ended up having to stay at home. Now, okay, I could have still went out and Brooke would have been okay. Okay, you say yourself, she's 17 nearly, she can look after herself and all, but at the end of the day, guys, you know what I mean, it's still your baby at the end of the day, and I didn't really want to leave her here, and she was sick and stuff like that. And saying that there, she did go to bed, and she slept for like 11 hours or something last night. She got up this morning, she had a hot shower, she had more paracetamol, she got a cup of tea into her, bit of breakfast, and she said, "Daddy, I actually feel a little bit better today because I slept for loads last night." So I was speaking to her there this morning. She's feeling great. She sent me a text message there this morning when she got into school saying she feels alright, and no doubt I'll probably hear from her because I'm recording this podcast actually on Thursday morning instead of recording it on Wednesday, which I normally do, because I was too fucking tired. But anyway, yes, hence why the podcast could be a little bit later out today. It's actually Thursday and I'm recording it for months. I normally record it on a Wednesday. But overall, guys, the last few days has been completely fucking stressful. I'm just at the point now where, you know, I was sitting there thinking to myself today, I'm going to have a beer tonight. I'm going to sit down tonight with a nice cold beer and I'm going to chill. I'm so tired. I'm just, and I even slept all right last night because I actually went to bed at a reasonable time last night. I got a pretty good sleep. But I got to get up tomorrow and I'm completely busy. I'm with football on Saturday with Lewis. Tomorrow, if I'm going to have a couple of beers tonight, I might not have too many because tomorrow I'm actually going to spend my Friday finishing my kitchen. Now, I did start my kitchen, a bit of work on it there recently, but with work and obviously being away and other things holding me back, I haven't had it finished yet, so I'm going to spend the next day or so, maybe tomorrow, Friday, and then obviously on Sunday as well, just painting the rest of the kitchen, getting it all fixed up and finished. I want to get a new floor put in. I want to get a lot of new things put on the wall, just get it all finished up and get it all freshened up, because I haven't had my kitchen properly done in about 6 years, so it needs to be fixed up properly. And then I want to head into my living room afterwards and get that a wee touch of paint up on the doors, the skirtings, get a wee touch of paint and maybe the walls, because if you watch my vlogs you'll see some of my living room has paper and some walls don't, so I'm going to sort of give a wee touch up and stuff like that there, because I like to give a wee bit of a touch up, you know, every so often. But anyway, yes, it's been a stressful few days. I'm just fucking so frustrated, but today hasn't been a bad old day. And yeah, the lawnmowers have just been turned off, I just heard, so finally they said, must have got my message when I shouted at them. They're gone. Oh dear. But yes, before I go on, I want to just give a wee quick shout out to a guy who I've got to know over the last year or so, Chris Heath. He is a local actor here in Northern Ireland, also a film editor, movie maker and creator himself. He was also starring in a BBC TV show there. I can't remember the name. Chris, if you're listening to the podcast, I apologise. Please don't crack up. I can't remember the name of the show. You remember for a couple of series. It was a quite popular series here in Northern Ireland. I met up with him with a coffee there a few months ago, and then recently he had done a really cool video on YouTube, guys, which I shared on the Facebook fan page. I'm going to share it on my Instagram actually again today. He went to meet over to England to meet that guy who does Rate My Takeaway on YouTube. His videos are fucking hilarious. Rate My Takeaway, some of the places he goes to and some of the food that he eats. Chris took it upon himself to fly to Leeds for a Macmillan coffee morning for the cancer charity Macmillan. Flew over that morning to meet him, and wow, what an absolute fantastic video. Really, really cool video, guys. Check it out. Chris Heath, Heath, on YouTube. I Rate My Takeaway. Fantastic video. Really, really entertaining. And he was on a mission to get him to come to Northern Ireland. He has been down south to Southern Ireland. He was in Dublin one time, but he's never been to Northern Ireland. So Chris, I know you're listening to the podcast every week. If you're listening to it, I'd love to have you on it as a guest, whether it be on a Zoom call or in person. You know, maybe even record a wee interview or something like that over a coffee or whatever. Get in touch with me, buddy, because I really would love to get you on to talk about your acting career and all the things that you've done over the years and your experience of meeting Mr. Rate My Takeaway. Guys, check it out. It's a really cool fucking video. Honestly, it is really, really good. Check him out. It is a really good video. Anyway, let's talk about a couple of other things this week that's been getting on my fucking tits. That's being totally honest with you. I put it out today on social media, guys, before I go any further, about this whole get in touch with me about the energy crisis and stuff like that and fuel and whatever. I want to leave that to next week. I'm going to head out probably tomorrow morning or Sunday before I start to work in my kitchen to speak to the local supermarket manager, to even see if I can go into the shops and speak to staff and speak to public, try and stop a few members of the public, try and get a couple of wee words in about your views on it. You know, because obviously a lot of people are complaining about the energy crisis, like, for example, and the cost of living as well in general. The cost of living is just fucking scandalous. The prices have went up as well. So I want to leave it to next Thursday's episode. So you've got a week today to get your questions in. I've had a couple in this morning since I posted on social media. People giving me their view on the gas prices, the electric prices, the cost of food, the cost of living. People who are struggling. You know, I was listening to a thing on the radio the other day when I was in my dad's car, by people on a phone in, I can't remember what radio station it was, saying about they're struggling because they're on benefits are low, and people are getting hammered with all these different bills. Even people who are working hard and paying their taxes as well are getting hammered with like gas prices, electric prices, and cost of living, and etc, etc. I want to do a subject on this next Thursday where I can be more unleashed and talk about it. So please get in touch with me now. moorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. Let me hear what your views are on it now. Now, two things I want to talk about today. First one I mentioned it on Tuesday is the driving test bullshit. People getting failed in their driving test for the stupidest fucking things. And also another thing I want to talk about is the TV license. Yes, TV license. What a fucking nightmare that is. Should I separate these issues and have a separate podcast for them? I was thinking about it today. Honestly, let's talk about driving license or driving tests. Now, recently a friend of mine done their driving test, and I'm not going to give their name because obviously I don't want to, give their name out for a lot of reasons. Done their driving test recently. I know a couple of people. Now, I went to school with a guy who's a driving instructor, and I go to ice hockey, and I know a guy who sits near me who's a driving instructor, and I know a couple of other driving instructors as well who feel differently about this subject, which I want to talk about quickly. People failing their driving tests for the stupidest fucking things ever. Now, for anybody out there who drives, and if you had any issues passing your driving test, or if you have any things you want to talk about that there, let me know. moorarmypodcast@yahoo.com, or social media links. You can get in touch with me. This guy I know recently went and done his driving test, and they failed him on being too cautious at a roundabout. Really? Now, here's the thing. I was talking to Dad about this yesterday. We were coming back home from the airport. Being too cautious at a roundabout. And I sort of went, are you fucking serious? Like, you failed for being too cautious at a roundabout. And as I say out there, me and Dad were coming back home with Mum yesterday in the car, and this guy almost caused a 3-car crash on the roundabout. He wasn't being fucking cautious. So how the fuck's he got his driver's license? Where'd he get his driver's license? On the back of a cereal box? Huh? Like, seriously, failing a person their driving test because they are too cautious at a roundabout. Unreal. Obviously, with a driving test, you have to have so many, like, is it minors and everything else, and all you're allowed so many mistakes and you're marked on obviously your driving and obviously all the things in the test. But failing a person because they were too fucking cautious at a roundabout. Like, what the fuck? Like, seriously, are you fucking serious? Now, I see people obviously failing because they're speeding or they're not checking their mirrors or a plethora of different things why you fail your driving test. But being too cautious at a roundabout. Now, here's a fucking thing, right? There's a roundabout near where I live right now, right up beside my old school. Now, I done a video the other day of my old school where I sat down, watched the video, reacted to it. Guys, go and check it out on my YouTube channel. We're on my YouTube channel. And I've had a lot of great feedback from it as well. Even Tony watched it because Tony went to the same high school as me and he fucking loved it. He texted me the other day and he even said to me when he saw me yesterday, loved it. Great video. But there's a roundabout that is up near our old school. Now, it was always busy. It still is busy this day because built on that old school, or our old school was knocked down, is a grammar school now. And what they done was a couple of years ago, they decided to put in traffic lights at a roundabout, which I think is the biggest clusterfuck ever. I think it's the only roundabout I know in fucking town has lights at it. Within the first week of it being like that, there were so many car accidents, it was unreal. Like, a roundabout is a roundabout. Now, there used to be an old roundabout in Bangor here. It's still called 6 Road Ends. It's a proper built roundabout now, but obviously you have all your junctions, your exits and all that shit. But this one for years, 6 Road Ends, it was a fucking nightmare. It was like literally 6 wee roads coming off, and there wasn't even a roundabout in the middle. It was just like a wee fucking lane, like a wee country lane thing, and there was a lot of accidents in it. So obviously, in that case, they had to build a proper roundabout, which was completely understandable because of the accidents and stuff like that. That is fine. I know a few people out there listening, there is accidents at roundabouts all the fucking time, but when they put in all these traffic lights in the middle of the fucking roundabout, it's confusing for people. The first week or so, there were so many fucking crashes. There was 3 crashes in the first day, for what I remember. But it controls the traffic the way where people are stopping to allow people through. That's completely fine. But there is roundabouts where there's no lights. And, there's fucking, but then there's people who just don't give a shit at roundabouts and they fucking plow out through, don't care. Like that guy yesterday we saw coming home from the airport, and Dad was like, fuck. And I was like, yeah, Dad, exactly. They fail people for being too fucking cautious at a roundabout. When people like that motherfucker there just comes plowing out, God knows how fast he's going, he runs into 3 fucking people, and there's a good thing Dad decided not to move it because Dad was being cautious. But this driving instructor fails the person I know on being too cautious. What the fuck? And there's motherfuckers like that plowing down the road, not a car in the world, speeds on out there. It's different at night time when the roads are empty and there's nobody there. You just take yourself on out. That's fine. But at the end of the day, you gotta stop. You gotta pay attention. If it's a busy time, especially at tea time traffic or morning traffic, like I experienced the other fucking day at the airport or heading to the airport. But failing people on the stupidest things. Now, I know there's people out there who have done their driving tests multiple times and fail for reasons that are obviously legitimate, and they can't drive for shit, and people who are legitimately, I call them road stupid. But at the end of the day, failing someone for being too cautious, what do you think about that, guys? And I understand if you're doing your driving test and say you're driving down a road on a 30-mile-an-hour road and you're doing like 40, 45, they fail you for that, or they give you obviously a fucking bad mark for that. That's fine. Or you're not checking your mirrors, you're not checking your blind spots, you're not doing all your different things you're supposed to be doing. But this person was sitting there waiting for the traffic, and after speaking to this person, apparently there was a fucking lorry coming, so this person had to come out. They would have been straight into the side of a fucking lorry. Like, what the fuck? Like, seriously? But then speaking to a couple of recent driving instructors and stuff like that, they were saying like, oh my God, we teach people to do things a certain way. We're all in the same boat. teach them to do a certain thing a certain way, and then when they go for their fucking test, they're told something exactly the opposite. Now, as I've started speaking to you again here, that it is an actual big council fucking thing outside my house cutting, so if you hear that lawnmower outside, I apologise. Like, the grass is fucking wet. It's cold and wet outside. Why are you cutting grass on a wet day? Like, seriously, you're going to make a mud bath outside? Stupid son of a bitch. Anyway, yeah, you can probably hear it. What I'll do is I'll turn the mic around and see if you can actually hear it here. No, if you can't hear it, then obviously we're lucky. But anyway, yes, let me hear what you think about these driving test things, because speaking to a couple of driving instructors, they were saying, like, well, we teach people to drive and teach them to do all their different things that they do whenever they're driving. Even people who know how to drive or know the rules before they even get in. Like, for example, people get in the car and go, I know how to drive, or they've been driving before and they lost their license or whatever, but they have to do lessons before they go and do a test again, or whatever the situation is. People who don't even know how to turn a fucking car on, or people don't even know how to change a gear stick, or whatever. You know, they teach them all the same, all the different rules, and then when people go for their test, they're hit with all these surprises, and they're kind of like, oh, what the fuck? Oh, you know, some driving instructors are too picky. Some driving instructors, or not driving instructors, driving test people, I call them, are too picky. They fail you for the stupidest things. I was talking to a taxi driver the other day, and he was telling me, he says, apparently they have to fail so many. It's an old myth that apparently they have to fail so many people at their job or every week or whatever. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? It's the same as the MOT centre as well. It's a fucking disaster. Guys, let me know what you think of your experiences with driving instructors, driving tests, driving in general. What a fucking nightmare. Like, seriously, failing a person for being too cautious at a roundabout. I don't know. What an absolute nightmare. But anyway, moving on. TV licence. Now, this is a subject I was going to leave for another day. another podcast. But I wanted to talk about this today because my blood's starting to boil and my piss is boiling as well with these TV licence fucking assholes. These BBC lefty fucking snowflake woke brigade arseholes who think that the world spins around them. I'm sorry, but BBC, in my opinion, especially since COVID came along as well, are a fucking disaster. I got sent a email last week about people, because I mentioned it on my vlog before a while back, but people asked me to talk about the TV licence, and I'm going to briefly touch on it today. Not going to go into too in detail in it because I don't want to give those fuckers promotion. Now, I know people even who work for the BBC, and I'm not even going to talk about that for another day because I'm just not going to talk about that, because I would never work for the BBC if you fucking paid me £1 million a day. That's my opinion on it. But again, my view of it is TV licence is a fucking joke. Now, this person who contacted me wanted to remain anonymous, which I respect that, but they sent me an email the other day which triggered me and thought, right, you know something, I'm going to fucking talk about this because this is the biggest pile of bullshit. They cancelled their TV licence because they did not want to pay their TV licence. Now, this is not my view. This is a listener or a viewer of my channel or this podcast's view, which I'm going to give my view on it. They got an email, a letter from the TV licence. They cancelled their TV licence saying, under the grounds of they don't watch BBC and they don't watch the iPlayer and they don't watch live TV. They only watch Amazon, Netflix and YouTube, which is okay, fine. The TV licence states if you watch live TV or record live TV or use the BBC iPlayer, you have to have a TV licence. And most of the other channels as well fall in that category as well for live TV, which is okay. Me personally, I don't watch BBC. I don't use their iPlayer. I don't watch their TV because at the end of the day, you know, I think I would never watch BBC again after everything that they've done during COVID. And that's just being totally honest with you. The scaremongering, the bullshit, the lies, the deceit, the cover-ups, all the crap that they done. And this is just my opinion on it, guys. And I don't care what anybody else out there says. They're far left. They are woke. They're just woke. Everything's all about them. And that's just my opinion on it all. And I think it's the biggest pile of bullshit ever. Now, this person sent me an email saying that they eventually had a call at the door from the TV licence people, which was quite an interesting one, considering they said it was a female. All it says, it was a female who sent me an email. Her husband answered the door to this TV license guy, who was very rude, very cheeky, wouldn't hardly let them say a word. Whenever her partner said to them, "Okay, listen, we don't need a TV license for this reason," and he explained the rules to him, and the guy came back and said, "Oh no. If you still have a TV in your house, you must need a TV license." I don't fucking think so. If you're not watching live TV, you're not watching BBC, you're not using the iPlayer, and you're using YouTube or Netflix, which is a service you already fucking pay for, which, by the way, they put the price up, by the way, and Amazon as well, you don't need a TV license. So why is this Here's the thing. I read the email in depth, and this actually really pissed me off. The TV license person then asked to come into their house to see, which they refused them entry. They then were trying to be forceful about it. Then they tried to walk towards their window. Now, fair play to this guy. Now, I don't promote violence on this podcast. I don't promote violence on my YouTube channel. You know, at the end of the day, her partner stepped forward and said, "Where the fuck do you think you're going? I'm going to look through your window." Are you not? That's invasion of privacy. You're looking through my property without permission, and you're not coming into my property without permission. I'm sorry. Get away now. Now, neither did this TV license guy know there was cameras at his house, her and his house, looking at them from a distance up high, and one of those Ring doorbell cameras as well, which obviously has audio and video, where they actually say, they said they're going to send me a copy of the video to watch, which I'm looking forward to seeing. Now, I'm not going to share it online, of course, because obviously it's their privacy and stuff like that. But her partner apparently said to him, "Listen, I've asked you 3 times, get away from my door," and this guy would refuse to go. So he used the terms of, "If you either go now, or I'm going to kick you down my driveway, and I'm going to throw you through the gate because I don't want you on my property. You have been asked 3 times to leave. You won't leave. You're trying to force yourself into my house. You're trying to look through my window like some type of like perverted creep. I've asked you 3 times. Get away from my door now. I'm not paying you any money. I don't need a TV license because of the laws state. Now take yourself on your little computer and get out of my property." It took them 10 minutes to get rid of this guy. 10 minutes to get rid of this guy. Apparently he was some little fucking, I don't know, grammar educated snooty wee snob with a clipboard under his arm and some wee machine in his hand, and he was just so like thought he was better than everybody else because he was from the BBC. Here's my opinion on it. If I didn't have a TV license, right, and they came to my door, now, I'm not saying I do, I'm not saying I don't, okay? If they came to my door and demanded to come into my property, they'd be swiftly told where to go. If he tried to perv through my window like some type of pervert, he'd be grabbed by the back of his trousers, the back of his scruff of his collar, and he'd be literally, I would go back to my wrestling days where he'd be flung down the driveway and told to piss off. Forcing away into someone's property, you can't do. Demanding money of someone, you can't do. And that's another thing too as well, I forgot to say, in their email, the couple stated as well that they asked him 3 or 4 times, for his ID to prove who he was, and he wouldn't show his ID. Now, that's the thing that pisses me off as well. All these cold callers coming to your door saying that they're from such and such and blah, 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 blah. And when you ask them for ID, they don't show you any ID. Guys, I'm going to give you a wee tip. If they don't show you any identification at all, you do not have to answer any questions. You have your legal right to close the fucking door and tell those sons of bitches to piss off whoever they are. Now, they could come to your door wearing one of these wee fucking bibs that says charity organisation, whatever it is, and their wee folder and all. But at the end of the day, for all you know, they could have got them from anywhere. See, unless you are shown verification ID, proper legitimate ID, you don't have to answer the door to anyone. Now, in relation to BBC, this TV license malarkey, at the end of the day, the law is the law, and it states in their YouTube, Netflix, and all that there, if you're not watching live TV via a Freeview box or a Sky Television box or whatever source it is you're using, the BBC iPlayer or whatever, you do not need a TV license. The law states that. Now, this person said in their email as well, they got a letter too as well, stating at the top, "You must pay TV license now," blah, 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 scare tactics. They're going to send me a copy of the letter to read through as well, which I'm looking forward to reading that actually. But again, at the end of the day, guys, there's rules around that. And the scaremongering they do to you, and this is why I don't like the BBC as well. Now, they're trying to get this TV licence scrapped. It is in place until 2027, I think. Is it 2027? But again, they're trying to get it scrapped. A lot of people are cancelling their licenses fees for a lot of reasons because of all the propaganda and all the stuff that is linked to the BBC. Now, I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's untrue. I've got my own personal feelings about the BBC since the whole COVID situation, where all the scaremongering and all the stuff that we're constantly shoveling down your throat every day about the whole COVID situation, about lockdowns and about all the crap, all the stuff about politicians, all the stuff that they've hidden over the years, the stuff, there's a lot of scandal about, people are talking about, like, for example, the Jimmy Savile situation, the Martin Bashir situation in relation to Princess Diana, all the stuff that goes on and on and on for years and years and years and years and years. I don't get involved in political bullshit. I don't get involved in that. I have my personal opinion on it all. But when you send some fucking goon to an innocent couple's door trying to force your way into someone's property, really? Like, are you serious? It's like if a police officer comes to your door and wants to come into your house, you don't have to let them in unless they have a warrant, unless you call them for assistance or whatever. Or, it depends on the situation, we can invite them into your home. But you don't have to let them into your fucking home. But these TV license guys, I saw a video that was brought to my attention by a friend of mine on TikTok, this guy in Belfast, and they came to the door, and the stuff that he was shouting at the TV license guy, I'm not paying my TV license to you. I don't even want to repeat what he said because, well, it's on these podcasts, fuck it, I can say it. He says, I'm not paying you nonce and pedos and BBC scumbags money for something that I'm not using. And the TV license guy was getting quite abrupt, and the guy basically marched him down his driveway and told him to piss off, basically. At the end of the day, and they're trying to scare people into getting this license that they don't even need, and it's fucking ridiculous. And at the end of the day, if it ever happened to me, they'd be told where to go. Like any salesman come to my door, oh, you must do this, I must do what? Really? You come to my fucking door telling me what to do? I don't think so. At the end of the day, rules are rules. There's certain guys, go and check out TV License UK's website. All the rules state there. Live TV, BBC iPlayer, you record live TV, or you are watching live broadcast of TV on BBC and certain channels. That other channel, C4C or something it's called in the UK, that doesn't make an exception. Other streaming services, I think ITV Hub actually gets out of that situation with the license. I'm not honestly sure, but I know for a fact if you're just watching the likes of, what a lot of people do now is watch YouTube and pay for Netflix and Amazon. The rules are the rules, and if one of these goons come to your fucking door, tell them where to go. My mum always panics about that and says, oh no, I mean, mum, you don't even fucking watch live TV, you watch YouTube and bits and bobs on your phone. And that's another thing too as well. I've heard people saying, I know this is true or not, people saying that even if you watch like things on your phone or your tablet or your laptop, now if it's the BBC iPlayer, that's the complete, if you're streaming live stuff from BBC on your device or your TV, that's live TV. That's obviously the TV license like bracket you fall into. But if you're not using all that service, why the fuck should you pay for something that you don't fucking use? Know what I mean? Why should you pay for something that you don't fucking use? I wouldn't pay for it. Why should you? So, again, it's a questionable debate, which I'd love to hear people talk about and people get in touch with me. And I want to thank that couple. Again, they want to remain anonymous, which I completely understand. But the fact that son of a bitch came to their fucking door and said, I need to come into your house. You don't need shit, motherfucker. You don't try and force your way into anybody's house or try and go towards the window and look through the window like a peeping Tom. What gives you the right to do that? None. So fuck you. I'd be telling them, get out of my property. I know my rights. I know the law. I know what I'm doing. There's the door. Sorry, not the door. There's the driveway, or there's the pathway, or there's the gate, or if you don't have a gate, whatever. Get off my property and disappear. Bye-bye. See you later. And before I come on to the podcast today, actually went on to YouTube when I had a coffee before I recorded the podcast today to go on and talk about, come on the podcast. I watched a couple of the videos. There's a guy I watch on YouTube called Black Belt Barrister. Now, this guy is legit. He is a legitimate barrister. He gives out legal advice for people in certain situations. And I watched one of his videos about the TV license where he got really in depth about it. He done 2-part video, which lasted about 20 minutes for the both of them. And he explains the same thing I'm saying to you. You know, if you're watching live TV, if you're watching BBC Live, if you're recording live TV, BBC iPlayer, things like that, then you need a TV license. Well, in certain situations, you don't need a TV license. So these people, if you don't have a TV license, guys, and you don't watch all that nonsense, and you know you're right not to have a TV license, and they come to your door, you have your legal right to slam the door in their face and tell them where to go. Simple as. Let them do it. So, but that's my view on it. TV license, what a fucking nightmare. And that couple, I hope they get sorted. You know, and that was me personally. I've been seeking legal advice. I know obviously you have cameras outside your house, which is great to have. I personally have cameras outside my house as well, for the likes of, you know, a lot of reasons. I've explained that on my vlog before, where our home's been attacked and multiple times by trolls and obviously cold callers and bullshitters and things like that. I had no other choice but to put multiple cameras around my house, and obviously the same in my street as well. A lot of people in my area have all cameras up as well, so our whole sort of street is safe from the likes of things like that. And obviously I had to personally get cameras put up because of trolls and because of assholes hitting my house on a multiple occasion, which has actually came in handy, where I've had to use that evidence to take motherfuckers to court and prosecute them because of people who think they're funny and smart. So, but it's a good thing that couple had those cameras up, because now if they ever go to court and they say to the court, well, I asked you to leave on multiple occasions, you didn't do it, there's the video evidence there as well. So it's quite handy to have. But anyway, guys, yes, what a fucking nightmare. It's a stressful week. And guys, I want to touch now. I want to go on to a couple of your emails here, which you've been in touch with me. And there's one particular one this week. I was at one with the TV license, which was a good one. But there's one here I want to read, which just literally, oh, wow. Now, you remember a couple of weeks ago, guys, I was in Cardiff and Bristol with Lewis for WWE Clash at the Castle. Now, I done a video where I was at the Bristol Hippodrome Theatre. Now, I'm a big fan of Rick Mill and Adrian Edmondson, the actors and comedians, and they done a show back in the 90s called Bottom, which was a very, very funny show. That's whenever great British comedy was around. Now, unlike that bullshit, now you see all that fucking woke brigade, oh, you can't say this and you can't say that, or they sit and go, oh my god, I hurt my feelings. Shut up. That's when comedy was in its good days, the 80s and the early 90s. You know, you had, with Rick and Ed, you had the likes of the Young Ones, which was globally known worldwide. Then you had Bottom, you know, and all the other different shows they done, like, I'm trying to remember the other one they done back in the 80s as well. Oh my god, they only done it for one series. I can't remember. Oh, they done the Dangerous Brothers, which was an RV sketch thing they done on TV. But obviously Rick and Ed have done multiple things throughout the years, like TV shows, movies. I mean, Ed, for example, was in EastEnders, he was in Casualty. You know, Rick Mill's been in multiple movies and TV shows. They even done a Bottom movie, Guest House Party. So, big fan of them. But they done a live tour of the Bottom shows, and one of them was held in the Bristol Hippodrome Theatre back in 1997. So I thought while I was in Bristol, I'd visit one of the theatres. Now, I couldn't get inside, guys. I was a little bit annoyed I couldn't get inside to see it. But the other day, I got an email, and I was actually really, really shocked from a guy who actually works at the Bristol Hippodrome Theatre. Now, listen to this here. My name is Chris Lewis. I work at the Bristol Hippodrome Theatre on the maintenance department. I came across and watched your video of when you visited. I'm so sorry you couldn't get inside to look at our beautiful old theatre. If you had gone to the stage door, we would have shown you around, no problem. The next time you're in Bristol, please pop to the stage door in Denmark Street, that reminds me of an old street in Belfast, and ask for Dave or Craig. As long as there isn't rehearsals going on the day, we will gladly give you a good tour around the old auditorium. Thanks for visiting. All the best, Craig. Wow. Fucking wow. Like, seriously, that got me emotional, because I'm a big fan of Ed and Rick, and I wanted to do a show you inside. I showed you a couple of photographs and stuff like that. Brooke and Lewis and I were talking about going to Bristol again very, very soon. So I'm going to get in touch with that guy, and I'm going to say to him, listen, you know, I want to come, oh, wow. Because that theatre apparently inside is absolutely fucking beautiful. I love old theatres, you know, and the fact that I actually got to see that one, and I wanted to go inside and see it, and, you know, just see the old, inside the old theatre. So the fact that the guys who worked there contacted me, so what I want to do is I'm going to reply to that email this week, and then I'm going to try and arrange something to head over there sometime soon and get a tour inside the theatre. Oh, wow. Even just even see the backstage, the stage, the dressing rooms. You know, when I met Rick back in 2006 in Glasgow, is it the Glasgow Pavilion Theatre, I think it was called? I have an old video on one of my old phones, which I took, lucky enough, and put it onto a hard drive, which I still have to this day, of my Rick doing a video from my dad at the back of that thing. Now, in that video of the Hippodrome Theatre, you see a photograph of me and Rick, which I have framed, by the way, in my house. The day I met Rick was at that theatre, which he brought. It was so funny because he was doing The New Statesman. That's another one there. I couldn't remember The New Statesman. He done that back in the 80s. That was a fantastic fucking show, all about politics and the corruption of politics and stuff like that, with the Labour Party, the Conservatives and all that there. Guys, you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's a fucking brilliant show. So it is. We went to the matinee show in the afternoon of the stage show, because he took the New Statesman on tour with all the cast from the TV show. And me and Brooke and Lewis's mum at the time, we were married, and we went to Glasgow for the weekend to see this show. During the show, I wasn't aware you weren't allowed to take photos. So I took photos, and at one point I forgot to turn my flash off, and right in the middle of a scene, Rick stopped and turned around and looked down at me. I was in the front row, and he went, "No fucking cameras." And I looked up at him and went, "Oh shit." One of my all-time favourite actors, hero of mine, is fucking telling me off. So anyway, cut a long story short, the day I met Rick, myself and Brooke and Lewis's mum went out the back, and we met a couple of the other actors and actresses, which was great. The girl who played Rick's wife in the programme on the ITV show was there. I met her. We got our programmes all signed, photographs, fucking great day, waiting for Rick. And we managed to run into a couple of stage guys who helped with the production of the set and stuff like that. And I said to one of them, you know, listen, we're going to leave here shortly, because I remember clearly England were playing Portugal that day in the World Cup in the bar across the street. And we had booked the table and stuff to get dinner and watch the game and whatever else. So I said to the guy, "Is Rick still in there?" And he was like, yeah, he's still in there. You know, "You're not from around here, are you?" And I went, no, we actually flew from Northern Ireland to see him and hopefully meet him. "Really?" He goes, "Stay there a sec." And away he went. Now, there was a guy from BBC Radio Clyde, which is in Scotland, was standing outside, and God, I'll never forget it, the adrenaline. My God, when I seen him coming down the wee hallway at the stage door, and walked outside, and he put his hand on his hips, like Flash Hard from Blackadder when he was in the TV show Blackadder, and he went, "Where's those BBC bastards from BBC Radio Clyde?" And I turned around to him, and I was the first one to speak to him, and I went, "Oh, he's just went round the corner there for a cigarette," and he goes, "BBC bastards," and he just laughed, and he goes, "By the way, where's these two folks from Northern Ireland?" And me and their mum just froze, and it was kind of like, here, and he went, he says, "Northern Ireland, come on in." And I looked at him and went, "What?" Now, I wish the fuck I was vlogging back in those days. Like, seriously, I wish I had been vlogging. This guy is like a hero of mine, and I'm thinking, Rick Mayall is this guy's a legend. I watched him when I was a teenager growing up, and he brought us into this wee stage room. We sat down, and he was like, "Well," he goes, "what can I do for you?" And I'm sort of going, "Hello?" And he was like, "Oh, how are you?" And I'm like, "Right," introduced ourselves, and he goes, "You've come all the way over from Northern Ireland?" Well, I says, "Yeah, because you weren't bringing the show to Northern Ireland. You were only doing the UK tour. You know, you done Bottom back in 2003 in Belfast, and we wanted, obviously, I went to see you live then, but I never got to meet you. But I wanted to spend." And he was like, "Yeah, no problem." Talked away, and we actually spent nearly 30 minutes with that guy. 30 fucking minutes chatting away, talking and stuff. And I says, "Rick, I've got your autobiography here. Could you sign it for me?" "Absolutely, no problem." I was asking him questions about back in the day of the making of Bottom, and obviously the Dangerous Brothers, and when he went to Manchester University, and we were talking about all these different things about him, and he was just such a fucking nice guy. Funny bastard, but really, really cool. And those memories, when I think about those days, I got to spend time with that guy, and it was such a pleasure to meet him, and it was so funny, and the jokes that he was telling us, and I was saying to him I'd love to meet Ed one day, and he was like, oh, Ed's hard to find, and that is fucking true. But anyway, he goes, I'm going to go out and speak to these BBC bastards, you don't mind, do you? And I was like, no, he goes, do you want to sit there and wait for me a wee bit? And I went, okay, but then their mum was like, I gotta pee, and I want to have because their mum used to smoke, I want a cigarette, so I went outside and stood outside, and he spoke to BBC Radio Clyde, and then he came over and I goes, Rick, can we get a quick photograph? And he was like, yeah, no problem. I actually forgot to say he just want pictures with the greatness that I am and all. It's just his character. He was brilliant. So that's the photograph you seen in that video of the Hippodrome, me and him standing with him, and he took a photograph of their mum, and he goes, this is your girlfriend? And I went, no, it's my wife. And he went, oh, it's your wife? Because we were only married like a year. And he put her in a sexual position in the middle of the street and took a photograph of her. And then a year later on her birthday, I actually put that photo on the front of my birthday card to wind their mum up for her birthday. But overall, the guy's a fucking legend. And I always said to myself, if I was ever in the area of any of those theatres, where he performed Bottom live, where I love Bottom, I would always visit it and tell a wee story about the show and we flashback and like that. But the fact that I didn't get into the Bristol Hippodrome Theatre at the time a lot of weeks ago, and those guys took their time to contact me, that really hit a heartstring for me, and I'm going to actually get back to them, and I'm going to arrange to go over and see it, and just, oh, wow, that email really brought it home for me. So it did. So really, really happy that Craig contacted me from the Bristol Hippodrome, and I'm really looking forward to getting over there. Bristol's a lovely town. Is it a city or a town? I think it's a city. I'm not honestly sure. Fucking crazy. But that email really touched my heart, and I'm really, really thankful for it. And I'm looking forward to getting back over there to see it inside, and I'll do a proper video this time while I'm over there. So there you go. But anyway, yes. Oh, what was it? Oh, emails and messages as well. Right, I've got the email. I'm all prepared this week, guys. I'm sitting here prepared. Trust me, I'm prepared. Okay, let's get into the emails. Oh, there's quite a few this week actually from you. A lot of you are preferring the Unleashed podcast than the normal podcast for some reason. Is it because I'm more free and I can say whatever the fuck I want? Is that what it is? Unreal. Right, let's have a look here. I've got an email from Southern Ireland. Cavan. It's from Cavan down south. Yes. A guy here called Frederick says, love the YouTube channel, love the new podcast, fantastic. When are you and Tony back in Dublin again for a night out? Okay, well, I talked about that before. We were supposed to be in Dublin a few weeks ago for the Snoop Dogg concert, but obviously it was cancelled due to, I don't know, whatever the hell he was doing, but it was cancelled. We will be heading back down whenever it's re-announced again for another date. When that's going to be, I don't know. As you know, Tony and I have been down to Dublin a couple of times for nights out. Tony's 30th birthday, we were down to watch Bill Goldberg, WWE wrestler, at a show in Dublin as well. We were down for a random night out too as well. We've been down quite a lot of times, so we love going to Dublin, and Dublin's good fun. It's really, really funny. We have some great cracks down there. I'm not saying that the city's funny, I'm saying that when we're down there is funny. We'll have some good night out there. Tony loves to go down there and let his hair down. He has hair now, unlike me. But yeah, Dublin is a good crack, and I enjoy being down Dublin. And the people down Dublin are so funny. But it is awful expensive down Dublin compared to up here. I always find it's really, really expensive, especially the pubs at night. You go for a pint in the afternoon, it's like, I don't know, say €3 or €4 for a pint. You go back at night time, it's like £6. And you're like, why do you put your prices up at night? Really? What the fuck? Crazy. But yeah, thanks for your question. Appreciate it. Yeah, we'll be heading down there hopefully sometime soon in the near future. So we will be. So this one here is from Robert from Stoke-on-Trent. Hello, Robert. How you doing? Loving the new podcast, Matthew. Great to hear. Love the Unleashed version more. Haha, didn't I tell you that? What did I say to you? I'm currently at university with my friends, and we all watch your videos every single week. We now love your podcast as we all have it downloaded and subscribed to it on Spotify. Well, hey, we will be listening to it in our car as we are travelling from and to and from college every day. Keep up the great work. Love it. Anytime you're from Stoke-on-Trent, give us a shout. Wow, brilliant. Student listeners, well, you didn't give me the name of your friends. I want to give them all a shout out, but thanks for your message anyway. I appreciate it. Yes, Stoke-on-Trent. Never been to Stoke in my life. Heard it's a nice place though. Never been to Stoke-on-Trent. So, but yes, thank you very much for your message. I appreciate it. Yeah, never realised anybody in Stoke-on-Trent were listening to us. Brilliant. Absolutely love it. But yeah, get back to me again. Let me know what you're studying, and obviously I'll share it with the listeners. What is it you're studying? And I'm assuming it's uni. What are you studying? Get back to me and let me know. Would love to hear more about it, and tell all your friends I said hello. And whenever we're in Stoke-on-Trent, we'll obviously give you a shout. Oh, did I mention in the podcast the other day, guys, about that guy I met in Liverpool? I think I did. I replied to him again today. I was talking to him today on Instagram. Offered to buy me a beer. Sitting in the Witherspoons in Liverpool, where a fan who's been speaking to me a couple of times over the years lives over there, and said hello to me. It was really, really nice meeting them. But yeah, thanks for your message. Stoke-on-Trent. God, Stoke-on-Trent. Never been there in my life. I've seen videos of the place and all, and obviously the football team, because Liverpool's played there quite a lot of times over the years, but no, I've never been to Stoke-on-Trent in my life. I always wanted to see what it's like. But maybe one day, ever do a tour of England or something like that, or go to a random place like Stoke. Never know. See how it goes. Anyway, yes, I've one here. Oh, this is strange. A girl here, I can't even pronounce her name. It looks like a Polish name. I can't even pronounce it. I'm really, really sorry. It begins with P. I can't even pronounce it. I don't pronounce that name. Anyway, I do apologise, but she seems to be Polish here. She says that she's moved to Northern Ireland from Poland last year, and she's loving the country. She came across the YouTube channel 6 months ago and loves the videos, especially the videos of the hockey, because her and her 2 kids and her husband go to the ice hockey. There you go. It's a very short email, but I can't even pronounce her name. I must actually... honestly, she seems Polish, but she seems to be just in the country, and she just came across the YouTube channel. So if you're listening, hello. If you're watching on the channel, hi again as well. I can't pronounce your name, I'm sorry. Oh, it's random, but it just seems from Poland. They've moved from Poland and they're now living in Northern Ireland. So I actually know a Polish guy, 2 Polish people. A guy who used to play for the Hardwick Builder football team and Bangor football team. I think he's actually moved back to Poland now. Big Lucas Gwinazda, you called him. When I first met him, he couldn't hardly speak a word of English when he signed for Bangor and was still working out at the time. And I always remember this wee funny story where Brooke walked up to him with our Google Translate thing and wrote a message for him, and Google read it out to him saying like, "Hi Lucas, welcome to Bangor. We hope you settle in well, blah blah blah." And then he started learning English when he signed for the Hardwick Builders when I moved up there as well. But he's now left the club, and the last I seen him on Facebook, he's now living back in Poland again, I think. God, he was a big dude. He was like 6'4". Great big player, but he reminded me of the big Russian out of the Rocky movies. Your man Dragoff, whatever you call him, from the Rocky movies. Scary big motherfucker. But he was as nice as pie, and he had a baby and all there recently as well, so I hope he's keeping well. But yes, whoever you are, send me that email. I hope you've settled in well to Northern Ireland, but for what I can see, I can't pronounce your name, so I apologise. It's a bit of a funny one, that, isn't it? Strange one, like. There we go. But anyway, let's get on to another one here. Let's have another wee quick flick through here the messages before I go here. Moving on to the end of the podcast here for this week. Oh God, there's so many emails from these guys. There's one there. Let's have a wee read of this one here. This one is from Stephen. Stephen, where are you from? You don't say. You don't say where you're from. Well. It says here, hello Matthew, I hope you're keeping well. I was at the Brighton Hove Albion game last weekend, and also we must have sent this email to me before, for what I can see here. Must have sent this game or email to me before I went to the Rangers game. I'm also attending the Rangers game this coming Tuesday night. I hope to get to meet you in person with my dad and get a picture with you, as we've been following your YouTube channel for the last 4 years. We absolutely love your videos, especially your Liverpool videos, as we get to see an inside view whenever we get an inside view of what it's like to be a fan. Obviously, we get to go to games sometimes throughout the year, but because you go to Anfield so much more, we get to enjoy your videos all the time. Hopefully get to meet you at Anfield. If not, we'll see you at the next home game. All the best. Thanks for being such entertaining for us and our family. There you go. Thank you very much for that. Well, obviously, I'm doing this on Thursday night, so I'm not going to get a chance to fucking see you. So, But hopefully get to meet you sometime soon. But you don't say where you're from. Are you from Liverpool or where are you from? I don't know. But it's just wow. It's when you see people like that there, guy. I touched about this on my vlog the other day. Even people who are emailing me, taking time out of their day to send me a message just to say hi, or to send me a message just to, it just means so much to me that people take time out of their day to even watch us, or even email us, or even just cooperate with us. When we first started on YouTube back in 2016, we had hardly any views. We were lucky to get 30 or 40 views at a video. And then once the Liverpool viral video hit with the 6 million views, our community just expanded overnight. And okay, yes, we do get a lot of wee dickhead trolls and assholes come in all the time and whatever else. But I mean, when I go onto the email now, the new email, which is only opened up recently there for the podcast, and see a list of emails from people and people wanting to communicate with me on the channel, and it's just fucking amazing. I couldn't ask for any more. Like, for example, that couple emailed me about the TV license out of the blue. I wasn't even going to talk about the TV license until that email come up, and I thought, something, fuck it, I'm going to talk about this. And then that guy from the Bristol Hippodrome, Craig, sent me a message saying that he works there on the maintenance side, and he would bring us in and let us see the theatre. Like that, it's just things like that. And I know a lot of people out there who are on YouTube use being on YouTube as an advantage and going, oh, I'm a big YouTuber, I'm going to take advantage of this, and I'm going to get backstage for something, or I'm going to do this to get this for free or whatever. For example, recently whenever Lewis got that parcel from Pound Bakery, where they give him a free hoodie and they give him vouchers for Pound Bakery and things like that, we don't ask for anything in return. All we ask for people to do is enjoy our videos. And if you enjoy them, fine. If you don't, fine. You enjoy the podcast, fine. You don't enjoy this podcast, then fine. And in recent months and last year or so, I've been more vocal about the likes of trolls and bullies and things like that, and telling them basically to fucking piss off and get out of my life and go away. In the past, I would sit there and say nothing because I didn't want to damage my reputation on YouTube. I didn't want to damage that there. At the end of the day, YouTube's not everything to us, and I've said this before. YouTube's not everything to us in life, but YouTube has given us a better life. It's given us more people in our life. We've met more people. We've created a community with people, which I'm trying to build bigger. Obviously, the last couple of months I've been finding it quite difficult with obviously work and different things going on personally. But again, YouTube has given us, like, we could be walking down the street and this random people look up and go, Matthew, how are you? Nice to meet you. Can I get a photo? And I'm like myself, I'm just me. And I appreciate that so much, and that means a lot to us. So to even come in and check these emails every week for this podcast really, really means a lot. So thanks for all your support, guys. Once again, I appreciate it. It just means the fucking world to us. And every week, whether it be an Instagram message or a Facebook message, or watching a video, or whatever it is you do, you buy a t-shirt, which I forgot to promote, by the way, at the start of this fucking podcast. The website, silly bastard, moorarmy.co.uk. I was sitting there thinking the way through this podcast going, fuck, I forgot to promote something. There you go. Want to get merch, guys? Moor Army podcast merch, and Moor Army YouTube channel merch, and Lewis merch as well. moorarmy.co.uk. But in all seriousness, no, those emails mean a lot to me. And if it wasn't for you guys, even when I was going through dark times recently, I took a break off YouTube there for a while because I was going through a lot of personal stuff with the likes of, my breakup with Sandra, which is quite difficult to deal with every day. I'm still finding it quite difficult to deal with it every day because obviously she's not around anymore and it's hard to deal with. You guys help me get through it by your messages. Like, I'm having a real shit day. And, the likes of that guy from Liverpool come to me randomly and went, Matthew, can I buy you a beer? I love your videos. I want to talk to you. I couldn't stop. I couldn't stay around, but I felt bad about it. But I will make it up to that guy, and I will meet up with him and have a beer with him. But the point is, when I'm having a shitty day and I get a message from someone saying that, like, my videos brighten up their day or whatever it is, or they listen to the podcast in their car going to work in the morning or whatever it is you're doing, that means a lot to us. And people may think, oh, he doesn't give a shit. That's your opinion. But really we do, because YouTube's given us a lot in life. It's obviously given us a lot of bad stuff too as well. But it's also given us a lot of good stuff. You know what I mean? And plus I use all the memories from YouTube for future videos. Like for example, when it's someone's birthday or it's a special moment. Like for example, when Brooke passed her exam results or she went to her high school formal. Things like that. You can look back at it and think, something, I've got all these memories now and I can keep them. So in closing, guys, yeah, thanks for all your emails. It fucking means the world to us, and it really, really does. And I couldn't ask for any more. So, but yes, before I go, I'm going to do the housekeeping once again. You want to get in touch with us, guys, here at the podcast, you can certainly do it. mirrorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. Any of the subjects we're talking about today, drop me a mail and we'll talk about it. Also, next Thursday, guys, don't forget, we're going to be talking about that energy crisis and the fuel crisis and the cost of living going up. Let us know what you think about that. I guess I'm going to be on a mission this week to get out and try and get people to come on and talk about it. So I'm going to go and speak to the manager of the supermarket and see if I can maybe go into a couple of the stores and speak to a few people to talk about it. And maybe try and stop a few locals in the area too as well, and obviously read out some of your emails too. So next Thursday, stay tuned for that. Plus it's unleashed, which means I can say whatever the fuck I want. Contact me, guys, personally on Instagram as well, official Matthew Moore. Follow us on Facebook, Moore Army YouTube channel. Drop a like on the Facebook page if you could. Really would appreciate all your support. And also for all your merch, social media pictures, all the YouTube channels, all the videos, everything to do with Moore Army is all on moorearmy.co.uk. Which, by the way, the website's getting a facelift in the next couple of weeks because I've got a new guy coming in to give me a hand to set up the new website. So, yes, and I was on the phone with the guy from the merch last week. We've got a couple of new designs for more Moore Army podcast merch. At the moment, we have a hoodie, which is available in 3 different colours. We've got t-shirts available in different colours. And we're trying to get more stuff in for kids and also for more stuff for the winter. So it's moorearmy.co.uk. Right, I'm going to go and wrap this podcast up for another week. And I'm going to go here and start my weekend. You know something? I'm going to go for a fucking beer tonight because I've had a stressful week. I'm going to have a beer. I'm going to get my kitchen painted this weekend. I'm going to football this weekend. I got 2 matches this weekend. I actually think I've got ice hockey on Saturday night as well. I can't even remember. I've got so much on. If I am at the ice hockey this weekend, you'll probably see it on social media. If you're at the ice hockey, let me know. In fact, before I go, I'll double check if I am at the ice hockey this weekend. I think I am. I know the Belfast Giants were playing last weekend. Let me have a look here and see. Sunday. Yes, Sunday. I'm at ice. In fact, I'll not be at ice hockey on Sunday because Liverpool's playing Arsenal on Sunday. So I'll have to get my tickets forwarded on to someone else. So there you go. Liverpool are playing Arsenal Sunday. Live reaction video for the YouTube channels. Hey. Oh, they're playing Guildford Flames. So anybody who wants to meet me at the ice hockey on Sunday, I will not be there. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. So there you go. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go. I'm going to get a beer. I'm going to have a busy weekend. So I'll be back on Tuesday for another podcast. What do we talk about on Tuesday? I pretty much don't know. If you have any subjects you would like to talk to me about, drop me an email. I would appreciate it. I'm going to go now and get this put together, get it online, Spotify and Apple Music and on YouTube as well. And I'm going to go and tonight sit down after a crazy day and have a nice cool beer and chill out and see if Tony wants to come and join me because I didn't get a chance to get out with him last night. So I apologise once again publicly to Tony. Hopefully I'll get a beer with him ASAP. So, well, there you are. Right, guys, I'm going to go. So, once again, thanks for all your support. I appreciate it. Love yous all. And until next Tuesday, this has been the Matthew Moore Podcast. Why am I saying that? It's the Moore Army Podcast. Fuck, I need to get that right. Because I used to do a radio show years ago called The Matthew Moore Show on local radio. And that's why I'm so fucking used to it. Because I'm so, don't. I told you it's been a stressful week. I'm ready for the hills. Where I hear that beer, I can smell that beer from the bottom of the hill. I'm heading up the hills here. My head's gone with the ferries today. I am away. What a week. Nightmare. Till next Tuesday, guys. Thanks for all your support. See you online, guys. Thanks for tuning in this week. I really do appreciate it.